Welcome everybody. Love to have you all here. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the shares. Linda and I absolutely love hearing from you. Keep subscribing, keep sharing it with your networks, your associates, your colleagues. It's absolutely awesome. What are we talking about in today's session? The golden opportunity for 2020. Linda is going to go through some pretty awesome stuff. This is going to go to air. As you all know, it's airing right now. Because obviously you're listening to it. We're a couple of days before Christmas. So this just gets our heads right for this particular time of the year. Linda, welcome. As always, magnificent to have you here. Why do you personally love this time of the year?
Great to be here, Alex. Thanks for the great welcome. Look, Christmas is a wonderful time because, business-wise, because everyone's pharmacy is buzzing. Everyone's excited. Things are happening. People are going on holidays. Customers are coming in and wanting different things. And, it gives you that sense of excitement about your business as well. And, we're a hop, skip and a jump from being over Christmas as well. And that's a particularly fantastic time because you actually get to breathe again, which is awesome. And I kind of have this visual of, just imagining everyone, all my clients in their pharmacies, like mopping up the stray tinsel on the floor and, with a big broom and that kind of thing, just as, this is Christmas done and dusted. We're going to mop up and we're going to get back on track. And because inevitably, the great thing about Christmas is you're in there and you're in the business. People are inevitably in their business at that time of year because it's such an important time for retail in general. Once that time is over, then it is the perfect time to start getting back to not just some kind of normality. You need that. So, you don't necessarily want to change things up all at once. You want people to sort of slide back into their grooves a little bit. But it's also an opportunity to really build anticipation, and let your staff know that it's going to be a really exciting and invigorating 2020 with some really exciting things to come. And, reminding them that you're not just going to go back to, oh, the party's over. It's really about, right, the party is over and now we get to plan the next one.
So the plan for 2020.
Yes. So getting, that sort of January, February time is a perfect time of year. A lot of people are away. A lot of customers are away. As a business owner, it's a great time to clear your head and actually get to work on your grand plan for the coming year and get the input of your staff too. For them, it's, they want to know what the sales goals are, what your marketing plans are, what some of the goals are with that. For you, that's underpinned by what are your goals for, your GP, so your gross profit, where do you want your expenses to be, what do you want your net profitability to look like, and setting targets around that. So, one is a conduit to the other. So you need to have those sales and marketing goals and take action and that kind of thing in order that your bottom line is going to look the healthiest it's ever looked at the end of 2020.
And that's important because you can hire people, you can get better systems in place that makes your life easier. It's just good stuff all around. And as you said, it's a great time to do that. So, I guess the gist of what you just said, so that I can understand it and share it with our listeners, is this is a critical time to plan for success and for setting goals. Absolutely important time to do that. So you mentioned that you were going to give us, and I think I might have alluded to it in the previous podcast, about, the recipe for success. So, Linda, what is your recipe for success?
Great question, Alex. Look, I guess as an overall comment to begin with, if you do the planning properly, then you will improve your gross margin. You will be able to decrease your expenses. You will build a robust marketing funnel, which is actually going to bring in a steady stream of regular, loyal customers who are going to spend more money and also take your professional advice. And the recipe for that kind of success starts with setting your 12-month goals. So what is the turnover that you aim to have in 12 months' time? what gross margin, which you probably express as a percentage, what is the reduction in expenses that you're aiming for? Now, that might be a dollar value or it might be a percentage, but really having your goals, identifying exactly what products and services your customers want and need that are going to also improve your gross margin. So it might be that, you know, come flu season that you're going to sell heaps of cold and flu tablets, but you can't really market for that. It is what it is. What we want to know are what are the more, not unique exactly, but if you understand your customer at a deeper level, then you will really get to know what are some of the things that you can offer them that other pharmacies perhaps are not. And if you do good research into that, then it's going to improve your buying, it's going to improve your sales, it's going to improve your stock turn, it's going to reduce any, you know, your dead stock as well, or the risk of having dead stock. So you've got to have your goals. You've got to be really clear on what are the products and services that you want to offer that are going to be welcomed by your customers. And also, what are the marketing strategies to bring in more of those customers that want those products and services? So that's another part of that recipe. Another ingredient is about your processes and actually streamlining them. Now, this is really across a range of different areas. So people automatically think about operational processes and purchasing, for example, both really important. But the process of sales and how you structure your marketing, for example, those sorts of things also are processes. Your business is made up of multiple processes. So really honing in on those and making sure that those are as effective and efficient as they can be is really important. And one of the ways that you actually streamline them is understanding. First, you've got to understand the process that you go through. Then you've got to calculate if you did things differently and how you could do things differently. What are the actions that you should take? And if you take those actions, what are going to be the savings? So it might be dollar savings, it might be time savings, it might be labor savings. And that'll really help you streamline your systems. Once you've got, you know what products and services to offer, you know what your goal is, you've got your strategies in place, your processes are all been well researched and you've really honed them so they're really sharp, then you've got the opportunity to maximise your sales. And of course, at the end of the day, we're there to help our customers and care for our customers. And we do that by selling products and services to them.
Providing them with the best possible things that are going to help them and making sure that your pharmacy is loaded, stock full with what people really, really want so that you can, push it out into the community. So that's absolutely well said. I love that. Got a couple of difficult questions for you, which I'm sure you're going to love and our listeners are going to love. But you
always up for a difficult question.
Oh, this is you're the master. So you talked about marketing funnels, and what is a marketing funnel for those who aren't really sure of the meaning of it. I mean, people talk about marketing strategy and have a marketing plan. You and I both know that most pharmacies don't. They think that their marketing plan is based off their banner group and sending out the information that normally goes out. That we know isn't as effective as it should be, and not really being able to understand, because most pharmacists don't understand the reports that are sent to them, because we've asked them, and I've never had anyone, I don't know whether you have, but I certainly at this point haven't had anyone being able to explain it to me perfectly or anywhere close to perfectly. So that's always an interesting factor. But marketing funnel, what is it in your view, and how can a pharmacy utilize that to their great benefit?
So a marketing funnel is a series of strategies that you've tested and measured that works and actually will bring in customers. Now, that's going to be based on research into your customer needs. You can absolutely utilize what your banner, if you're part of a banner group, what they provide to you, and that can be really helpful. you need also to refine that further for your particular market. So there's no substitute for really understanding your own customers and the customers you want to attract in your particular location. And when you can do that, the marketing funnel isn't just, well, we need to market to these people. It's what are the products we need to market and how are we going to do that? What are the I think the plural of medium is media.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not necessarily talking just about social media, but about the plural of mediums.
And so welcome,
I love it.
Welcome to Linda's Psychic Hour.
Certainly not a great command of the English language at this time of day, it appears. So look, the bottom line is that, you know, your marketing funnel is going to have a whole lot of different media to get your message out effectively. And, you know, back in the day, catalogs were great and that was generally how you did it. But now you can be using social media, you can be advertising on the radio, you can be, you know, having sandwich boards outside your pharmacy. You know, there's a whole raft of different things. Sometimes it's even about keeping it in store and offering promotions to existing customers, whether it's to refer somebody or, you know, some sort of bonus for purchasing a particular product. You know, these are all marketing strategies. And, you know, the funnel is going to provide you with a steady stream of customers, loyal customers who buy what it is that you have to provide and value the advice and trust that what you offer them, whether it's a product or a service, is going to meet their needs.
How do people do it? What's a simple way or simplistic way of being able to plan?
Well, I mean, there's a whole lot of ways that you can slice and dice that. You know, planning, I suppose the first thing you need to do in your planning is you need to set your goals. So you know what you want to achieve. Then it's how do you get there? And you need to understand what your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and your threats are, and then put in place some solutions, some strategies to capitalize on the strengths, some solutions to offset the weaknesses, again, you know, look at what are some things that we can do to capitalize on the opportunities. And what do we need to do to offset the threats? So those are some basic things that you would do in your planning. What do you reckon? Like, what else would you add in?
I think that you're absolutely spot on. You know, I think a SWOT analysis is important because then you can look at things and say, okay, well, these are our strengths. This is what we're really good at. But
yes.
What I've seen people make in terms of mistakes on SWOTs is that they're too vague, they're too generalized.
Yes.
So people need to be more specific about their strengths. So if we sell well, what do we sell well and who sells well in the business? And then in terms of our weaknesses, the same thing. And people have to be very open and honest about themselves rather than letting their ego and their preciousness getting in front of the way. I mean, this is an unemotional business decision in terms of where our strengths and weaknesses lie. From those, you can then determine, well, where are the opportunities? The opportunities are, because if we have weaknesses that we know we can plug in and make those things better, those lie the opportunities. And then therefore, these are the threats. These are the things that, because most people come to consultants and to mentors and coaches like us when it's too late. Unfortunately, that's what they do, because most people who are really kicking goals are the people who've used mentors in the past and are used to using mentors. So they've got areas in their business that they know for a fact, even though things are going well, they know for a fact that you can always improve certain things. So they always come seeking you to say, I want to go to the next level. I've hit a bit of a glass ceiling, or I now need better systems, or I need more money, or I need more time, or I want to make my team better. And so they always look at certain things to do it. But unfortunately, that comprises normally a very small percentage of people who actually do that. Most people's businesses are running either one step or just a few short steps ahead of total calamity. And so when difficult times come, or let's just say another competitor comes into the market, or the other competitors around the area all of a sudden step up, that's when they start to really feel the pressure. Or a new government regulation comes into play, so there's new compliance issues, and that's when their business gets exposed. So that's when people, should make certain changes to try to be proactive. But most people, and you and I often talk about mindset, aren't set up that way to think that way. They think they can handle everything because they're intelligent. And you and I both know the biggest mistakes business people make, these are the intelligent, successful ones. I'm not going to even talk about the rest of the crew. I'm talking about the intelligent people, is that they'll sit down and map out a plan and then say, these are the things that I need to do. But you and I, how often have we sat down with our experience and our years of knowledge and skill and said, you know what, guys, you're actually wrong. These are not the areas you need to improve. Or maybe they are, but you need to do these things first, because you and I know that it's all about the right things at the right time in the correct sequence. So that's why it's so important to have good mentors, good leaders, people guiding you through those particular aspects of the business. So the reason I say that is, A, I'm trying to get people to actually understand, don't wait before it's too late to do something about it. But when you're sitting down and working on your SWOT and you're looking at your opportunities, don't try to tackle everything at once, but make sure as well that, if you're going to spend money and invest your time and your resources on something, best that you're going to invest it in the right areas first, where you're going to get the biggest return on that investment. Because everybody cries about time. Everybody. I've got unemployed friends of mine who complain about not having enough time. And I've got friends of mine who are CEOs of some of the busiest companies in the world who complain about time. And I have friends who run their own businesses and they complain about time. So everyone has 168 hours a week, and yet everybody's busy. I don't care about the word busy anymore. I find it ridiculous. What I understand is it's not a question of how busy I am. It's a question of prioritizing and knowing what to prioritize first and make the time for it. Because if you don't, then you're just going to repeat the same mistakes. You're going to have the same issues in your business. Now, if you're happy to chug along for the next 5 to 10 years, earning the money that you earn now, it's not a problem. You don't have a problem. But if you do want more money, if you do want more time, and if you do want a better business with better systems and a better team, then you're going to have to do something different. It's just the way it works. So then,
and Alex, I think with that,
yeah,
it's important. One of the things in particular that you've hit on, which I think is really important, is making the time to do the planning. You need to be, as a business owner, you need to be able to pull yourself out of your business on a regular basis, do your SWOT analysis, look at what's happening in your business, and actually have a time that you devote, even if it's 2 hours a week. Tuesday mornings, 9 to 11, that's the time where I work on the business. I'm nowhere near the pharmacy. No one can interrupt me. I'm really focusing on what are the goals that I set at the beginning of the year.
Go to a coffee shop or stay at home and go in late.
Mm-hmm.
But make the time. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you can do that, then you can communicate articulately to your staff what is it that you want to achieve. And when you've done that planning, that gives them a sense of comfort that there's a direction, that you know where you're headed and you know how you're going to get there. Right. So, keeping an eye on what are those opportunities as you understand what's going on in your location, what type of customers you have, all those sorts of things are going to be really important. And what are you planning for? Yes, you're planning your marketing. Yes, you're planning your systems and processes and your goals, but you're also planning how to incentivize your staff, how to engage your staff based on their personality. So I'm not talking about spending, a lot of money here. In fact, that can be counterproductive, because once people, the research has shown that once people are being paid fairly, what they perceive to be fairly, then, giving them monetary bonuses doesn't motivate them. So making sure that there's an understanding of the culture and the type of people that you're working with will help you. Part of your planning is, how am I going to get my people excited about this?
Yeah.
And one of the things you need to do to make sure that they can actually achieve the goals is assess their skills in different areas and their motivation in different areas. You know, are they motivated to sell? Do they have selling skills? Are they interested in perhaps some of the marketing stuff? Are they the kind of people that just, you know, and this is individuals, do these individual, you know, a particular individual, their talent is in connecting with the customer. So if you were to plan, part of your planning being, how do I understand my customer better? One of your actions, one of your strategies in your planning is, well, I could utilize, you know, Sarah to actually find out more about what the customers really want, because she's really great at connecting with them. So doing that assessment as part of your planning, creating a training plan. So that's another aspect of your planning. So your plan isn't necessarily a linear thing. It might look like a mind map. You might have your big goal in the middle, and you might have all these offshoots, you know, marketing with different actions, or, you know, training with, you know, different people's names and what after you've assessed what their training needs are, what are the courses that you're going to send them on, for example. You know, making sure that as part of, you know, if you really want to maximize your sales, communicate that big goal openly to your people. You know, get them involved in setting targets. You know, you're the one that sets and communicates the KPIs as the owner, but, you know, if they know what the target is, then nothing's going to come as a surprise, and you'll have their buy-in as well. So the planning doesn't have to be done only by you. You actually involve your staff in that too.
The important thing is making sure that you've got something to work towards, whether you actually hit the target or break through it or get under it. At least if you do it on a regular basis, which we always suggest to clients quarterly, which is a 90-day plan, then you've got something to work towards, and then you can start getting a record of where you're at with those particular key performance indicators and those particular plans, so that you can go back to see where you've come from, what you've done, what you've achieved. Celebrate, as we said in the previous podcast, the wins, because that's very important with the self and the team as well, and making sure that you've got something that you can test and measure, because you and I both know is that if you can't measure it, there's no point in doing it. So, you know, those things are core critical. And then the other thing that I just wanted to add in, just very briefly, because it is a question that gets asked quite often, where do I plan? You know, and the answer for me personally, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it, it doesn't matter. It could be on a whiteboard to start off with. It could be an Excel spreadsheet. Go and find yourself a template if you've got one inside your CRM or your financial system, or you know, that you use. Fine. It doesn't. Use a Word doc. It doesn't matter. What's absolutely essential is that you write it down. Most people say, oh, no, it's in my head, I know what it is. And then you and I know that if you start asking them questions, all of a sudden they can't articulate it, they can't clarify it, because your brain works in a specific way where it thinks it understands it. But when you actually take it out of your head and start putting it on paper, so to speak, you actually start to see a lot of the gaps and the loopholes and a lot of the composition that needs to be filled in on that. And then, of course, those that do plan very rarely execute the plan. So you and I have also learned, and we teach a lot of our clients, is that once you have the plan, work the plan, because that's how you can course correct a business. You can't course correct a stationary vehicle because it's called procrastination. But if someone's actually working towards going from point A to point B to point C, or wherever the point is, the most important way to do it is to try to get it, you know, in as straight a line as possible. But anyone who's been in business knows that that never happens. You will zigzag your way through to it. But by having capabilities to measure, to look at where you're at, where you want to go, where you've been, gives you a lot more clarity and lots of definition, and enriches the composition of the plan. And if you go back and reiterate it, what gets inspected gets respected. And so you're always able to do better with those particular things. And strangely enough, as we talked about before, the research is pretty straightforward on this one. It's black and white as you get. Those who actually write down their plans are 3 times more successful. Those who actually write down their plan and then work towards it are 10 times more successful than those who just have a written plan or think that it's in their head. So
100%.
those are the things that are important, you know.
100%. And really, I guess what the golden opportunity ends up being, that we're coming up to the start of a new year, a new decade. If you create a plan which will allow you to create a motivated, sales-oriented team with clear goals, optimizing productivity, optimizing your marketing systems, and, you know, really making your expenses as lean as possible, then the golden opportunity will be realized.
So how do you
maximize it?
How do you maximize your sales?
Well, I mean, we talk about this a lot on different podcasts, and there's all sorts of ways to do it. But I guess it boils down to a number of things. Number one, having staff who are motivated, and can be an asset to the business in that sense. Yeah. So that's one way that you maximize the sales.
Love that.
You make sure that they, you know, that people not only are motivated but are appropriately equipped in terms of their knowledge. I was going to say experience, but it doesn't come down to experience even.
Yeah, you and I have seen people who've been in the pharmacy for 20 years, 25 years, and call them experienced, but they're actually not that good at what they do.
No. So really, it's about having staff who are motivated, who are appropriately knowledgeable, and they know what the target is, and that target is communicated openly, that there's progress meetings so people can see, you know, whether they're reaching their KPIs as opposed to the goals. So the KPIs, the key performance indicators, are those figures which will show you that you're making progress towards your goal.
Meetings. You know what? That's gold, Linda. It's so true. We know successful pharmacies have regular meetings as teams and groups.
100%. So I think, you know, in terms of the golden opportunity, it's there, you know. If you are prepared to put in, you know, actually devote time out of your week to working on your business, create a plan which encompasses all of those things that we've talked about, involve your staff, have regular meetings to make sure that everybody is accountable and they know what's happening, then you'll be successful. And it's going to be an awesome 2020.
So I know you wanted to share a bit of an anecdote, a story between Jan versus Nicola. You know, what is that story? And I think it's a relatively good one. Simple, but yet it does drive home the point.
Yeah. I've seen in all my years of pharmacy, there's 2 particular kinds of characters which stand out. One for a positive reason and one for a frustrating reason. So, you know, we'll call them Jan and Nicola respectively. But really what we're talking about, you know, Jan, and I'll just draw a broad brush picture of who Jan is. Jan is, and we all have Jans in our pharmacies. And, you know, Jan is, you know, probably mid to late 40s, been working in pharmacy for a long time, loves to chat with the customers, is a genuinely nice, you know, really kind person, very well-meaning, and the customers really love her. They come in to chat to her, to tell her all about, you know, what's going on in their lives. You know, my grandson's just got his year 12 results and he's getting into uni and, you know, all this sort of stuff. But when the pharmacy owner has started to talk more about selling skills, and this is not, do you want fries with that? This is selling gracefully and with integrity. But Jan hasn't got it, and all she thinks is that selling is talking to the customer and making them like you, and then they'll buy things. And, you know, even more problematic is that she sees selling as a bit of a dirty word. And, you know, it's taken time for some pharmacy owners to become comfortable with that themselves. So, you know, if you've got a few Jans in your pharmacy, it's not unusual. It is tricky to overcome if you don't have that sense yourself that providing, you know, great service is really about understanding the customer and then providing solutions which come in the form of products and services. You know, Jan sort of sees selling as being a bit sneaky and underhanded, and, you know, smacks a bit of, you know, oh, we're in it for the money, and that rather than the customer's needs, and that makes her very uncomfortable. And so she just, if she doesn't outrightly refuse to sell, she just doesn't do that. And what you have is you have someone in your pharmacy who is collecting a salary, lovely person, customers love her, but she can spend half the day talking, and customers are not walking out with bags full. And that's an issue. Now, you know, there are pharmacies that also have their Nicolas. So I've just made up these names, but, you know, they're pretty common names.
Let's just quickly put it out there that if any similarities exist between these particular people, we hold no responsibility. It's all by pure accident. We're not actually going after Jan or Nicola.
Absolutely. Got to remind ourselves of that, yes. Yeah. But, you know, Nicola, if we use the name in inverted commas, is a completely different kind of person. She's enthusiastic. She believes in what she does, which is like Jan. She also cares for customers, just like Jan does. But where she's different to Jan is she understands that in order to make a difference to customers and to their health, she needs to ask questions relating to what's going on for them.
Diagnostic type questions, right?
Right. And so it's not that sort of simple, how are you going today, Mrs. Jones? Yeah. It's, you know, what's happening? How are you feeling? You know, what are your symptoms? How, you know, how can I help you with what's going on for you at a physical level? You don't put it exactly like that, but what she's trying to do is uncover what's actually happening for her so she can help. You know, if someone's coming in for a chat, they should see a psychologist. But if they're coming in because they actually need help with something, that's where the pharmacy and the staff can really add value. And, you know, someone like Nicola really believes in what she's doing and believes in the value that she offers, which she can only offer by asking questions so she can provide solutions and knowledge and information and products. And also feel comfortable that when she understands what the customer's needs are, that if the customer sort of throws up some objections about, you know, price or do I really need this, she really truly believes in what she has to offer. And so she can talk to the customer on that level and really reassure her that this is actually what she needs. And
summarize the golden opportunity for us then.
So the golden opportunity is turning all of your staff into Nicolas. You know, some of them do it intuitively, but some need to be given training in the right sort of skills so they know the right questions to ask. And ultimately, you know, what the golden opportunity is that the Nicolas actually provide more value and are more trusted by the customers because of that, which ultimately is going to impact the bottom line properly and in a long-term sense, because customers are going to come in more often. They come in for a purpose rather than for an idle chat, and they buy more when they're in store. So turnover increases, sales increase, and all of your people, I shouldn't say all, most people that work in a pharmacy are genuinely well-meaning people who want to help. And if you can provide the tools to your staff so they can help at a deeper level, then your customers are going to love you, they're going to trust you, they're going to come in more often, and, you know, your pharmacy can go from success to success and continue to grow, even in this market, which is quite a competitive one.
So the summary points then from what you've talked about with us today and the listeners is motivate and combine a motivated sales-oriented team with clear goals so that you can optimize productivity get a clear plan on marketing so you can attract the right people to your pharmacy who are going to buy products that are going to be good for them and good for the business. Because remember, we're in business to actually make money. Let's not move away from that particular point. And having those clear goals protects you and sets you up for a positive 2020. And of course, whatever you integrate into the business well today will serve you well for the future. So, what you're saying is everybody get out there, grab this opportunity, do it now, prepare for a great year and get started. It doesn't matter how or what, but just put some pen to paper and just begin with that process.
100%. Couldn't have put it better myself, Alex. Well done.
Yeah.
You were listening, weren't you?
I was listening.
Active listening.
Actively listening. So, Linda, once again, as always, thank you so much for making the time to be here. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your kind insights. I know that we can't go into details and too many specifics, but I know that the details and specifics that you do share while we're here, live on air, that type of thing, is appreciated. So we really do thank you for that. For our listeners, make sure that if you have any questions, put them into the comments box. Linda and I will look at them. We will answer them. That is our commitment to you. That is how serious we are about improving our industry, improving all aspects of what we can in community pharmacy. We're very serious about it. We're very passionate about it. So we thank you also for making the time to listen. We also want to recognize you as the go-getters who do want to make improvements in your pharmacy and improve yourselves. And, Linda is massive on that. And so we both want to recognize you and thank you and congratulate you for being here. As always, if you haven't subscribed to our SoundCloud podcast or our YouTube channel or our Facebook, please go ahead and do that if you don't want to miss out on great tips, advice, information, updates, and that kind of thing that you do get from Pharmacy Profit Secrets and Linda and the team at Pharmacy Profit Secrets. And if you have, as always, enjoyed the session and want to share it, please feel free to do so. That does help us. It's a way that you can say thank you to us for sitting here and giving away all this great advice. Well, hopefully you like it. If you don't, let us know and we'll make some improvements on that. But if you wanted to thank us, if you wanted to pay it forward as well, the best way to do that for Linda and I is to comment, is to share the information on all the different social media platforms, because that's really cool for us. Before we go, I'll let you know that the awesome giveaway that we have, the link that you can actually get from this particular podcast, if you haven't had it yet, is Linda's 4 leadership secrets that you need to know. Linda spent a lot of time working with very successful pharmacists and also some very successful business people. And the fact that she analyzes everything really well, and then she tries to simplify that into a composition which is easy for people to understand and to simplify it. Stuff that's practical. She's put it into her How Leaders Succeed report, or ebook, if you want to call it that, where she does share the 4 leadership secrets that you need to know. She talks about the hidden leadership elements that all great business leaders have. And she shows you exactly how she taught new managers and experienced leaders alike the secrets to leadership success. And success in leadership is something that we all need. It's something that we can always all improve on, whether you're a good leader right now or a great leader, or whether that's something that you really want to improve on. This is a great way to get started on it, because these particular pieces of advice that Linda has given has actually yielded magnificent results that have radically changed those particular leaders and their teams. Because if you want to lead people, the best way to do it is to become a great leader yourself. And that's so important in terms of what we've spoken about today. Making your team great, spending the time coaching, mentoring, developing your team is so important. But in order for you to be able to do that and to keep doing it better and better, is to keep developing yourself as a leader, as Linda keeps talking about all the time. So more than just education, and we know that education is important, but this particular investment of time goes directly back into your business, because it's so nice to be educated on things, but in business, you want things to work. You want to actually see and feel results. And this is what Pharmacy Profit Secrets is all about: simplifying information, giving you the practical information in a world of so much information. What Pharmacy Profit Secrets does really well is take the difficult stuff, make it easy to understand, and show you how to implement it into practical theory, out of practical theory into practice for your business, to see genuine and real results in the really real world of business, as we like to say. So go ahead, click on the link, download that, and have a read of it. It's not that long, because I know you like to keep things short and tight and concise, Linda. So for those of you thinking, oh, how long is this going to be? You're not going to be redoing a Master of Business or anything like that. There's no MBAs or whatever the case is. Like I said, we've taken the core critical things that Linda's learned, and she's shared it with us. Again, thanks everybody. The next podcast that you're looking forward to sharing with you will be your Sales Go on Holiday When You Do podcast, because in so many cases, you are the business. If we remove you, we remove the business, and that's not what a business should be. So that and many other important aspects of that particular subject, and how you can start to look at making your business better, will all be revealed in our next podcast. Will your sales go on holiday when you do? Thanks again for listening. Goodbye from me, Linda. Thanks so much.
And goodbye from me.
Goodbye from you. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay, thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone.